Well, my name is Sina Nettebø, and I'm calling in from a very snowy Copenhagen today. I hope you're all doing well this morning. I am from Danish Standards, where I'm a senior project manager. I've been involved with research innovation for more than 10 years now. I've been in several framework program projects, while also being employed at Danish Standards. So I sort of know the world from both sides, both from participating in research and innovation, but also as being part of a standard body. And finally, but of course not least, then I'm also a partner in HS Booster, where I am the task leader of the work package on our services. So it's my pleasure here today to let you know a little bit about our different services. Some of them you might already know, but I am convinced that there'll be some new ones also here today that you haven't heard of. And please, of course, feel free to ask any questions via the chat during my presentation also. So first of all, I'm sure that if not all of you, then many of you will have taken a look at the website. It looks like this. It should be pretty easy to remember. It's hsbooster.eu. On this web tools. So if you haven't already done so, please go to the website and explore. There are no wrong buttons to press, so to speak. So press anything and see what it does to find out which tools and methodologies we have to offer here. I'm going to dive right into one of our key services, which is our consultancy service or one-on-one mentoring. This is one of our key services where we are matching experts within different fields with Horizon projects, either projects that are ongoing, but also projects that have finalized. So if there are projects out there who haven't already applied, then I would like to also let you know about what this service can do for you. So what actually happens during this service? It's a 3-month service. So that means that within the time of 3 months, you will get some advice from a dedicated expert on how you can implement standardization initiatives or use standards in your projects. And it's very important for me to say that even though it's dedicated 3 months, then you can also apply again. Oops, the slide just changed. You can also apply again. So that means that if you, after this first service, see there's even more potential, or if you'd like to have a longer service, then feel free to apply once more. If I can just go back to the website here, if you look under the tab in the top called projects, you can take a look at how you can apply for this. It's free of charge for projects, so there is really no excuse to not do it. So what actually goes on in this process is that, like mentioned, projects are matched with an expert that is as close to their field of study as possible. There will then be a sequence of meetings. The first one will, of course, be introductory, where the project can talk a little bit about what is their research, what are they doing, what are their standardization objectives, if they already have any. And then the expert will be able to give you an overview of what are the standardization fields that they might be interested in, and what are the standardization fields that that particular expert are engaged in, and what is their background. So the first meeting is sort of, I would say, meet and greet, and talk a little bit about who each of the different parties are. Then you can have several more meetings. The reason why those are in a lighter kind of blue here, my slides change. I don't know why. They change automatically, Maria. As you can see here in the light blue, there's the second and the third meeting. The reason why these are in light blue is that it's voluntary if you have one or several meetings more.
Sorry, Sine, I think the slides are not moving, you said, right?
The slides were moving, but by themselves, without me pressing anything. So
okay, that's weird.
There's a ghost.
Slides are misbehaving today.
The slide, go to the next one.
You can try maybe.
No, it works. It's okay, Maria. Don't worry about it. I'll just go back. So we have these second and third meetings that could be either one or several meetings, depending on the expert and the project and their needs. During these meetings, the expert will be able to give you the project some advice on what should be the standardization activities that are carried out. And I don't know if you hear him yowl in the background, don't worry about it. I have a new kitten and he's very talkative. In regards to the advice, then it's of course the responsibility of the projects that they also act on this advice, because it's of course important that the time spent by the expert is spent wisely. So that means that we at least encourage that projects also actually implement this advice that the expert gives them during this HS Booster consultancy or mentoring. And finally, of course, there'll be some wrap-up activities. And the expert drafts a report for the project where they can read what are the advice that these experts will give the project in regard to standardization activities. And that could be many different things. It depends really on the project and what's going on in that particular project. It could be anything from, I encourage this project to take part in standardization activities. It can also be that they need some training on standardization, which Ivana will talk more about later today. Or it can be the use of standards. So there's really no limitation, I would say, to the advice. It depends on the expert and the project, and what they find out together is the best advice in regard to standardization activities. And then, of course, the project afterwards can use this report that they're given, either in a deliverable or as input for the project, or in a however way they would like to. And we also encourage, of course, that they also share this information with the project officer that's dedicated to their project, because it's really something that shows, I would say, dedication, that you are also working on these activities in a very serious manner. And as mentioned first, then if you would like to have more than one service, then after the first service is concluded, then you are free to apply for a second one. And then we have both experts and projects listening in today. And in regard for the experts, then we can also say that depending on the complexity of this particular service or mentoring, then you can apply for getting more time for giving this advice. So if you as an expert feel that you don't have enough time to give this advice, then please contact us, and then we will see if we can give you a bit more time for providing this expert advice to the projects. So that's just a very brief overview. Many of the projects listening in will sort of try this out on their own projects. So you will also see yourself how this service functions. And I will now go on to a little bit more about the support tools we have that can also help you. And I would also like to say that the reason why I've also written links in this presentation is that on the screen now you see some orange boxes. Each one of these are links. So that means you don't have to look for these tools. You can just click the link in this presentation and they will take you directly to these tools. So the first tool I just want to mention is that we have a chatbot. So that means that if you have some sort of question or if there's something that the project would like to know, then feel free to use the chatbot and then it'll answer as good as possible. And we really encourage you also to use this chatbot because the more it's used, the better it'll get. So we hope that we can continuously improve this chat tool so we can handle as many questions as possible via this tool. We also have a help desk, which has an FAQ. So if you go to the help desk, then you will see some answers to some of the more common issues or things that organizations would like to know, maybe about linking research, innovation, and standardization. And also, again, like Maria said in the beginning, this is a pilot. So if you feel there's something missing in this FAQ, please do let us know, and we will add it as soon as possible. Then we have a brand new tool. It was launched a month ago called the Orientation Tool. You will see this, if I can just go back to this one, at the far right end of the website, you will find the orientation tool. This tool should be able to help you with orientating yourself in the world of standardization and what you as a project could do in regard to standardization. We have tried to make it as simple as possible. So that means that you answer a very limited amount of questions. These questions are, for example, which technology readiness level is this project aiming for, and elements like that. And once you have answered these questions, you will find some advice on how you can proceed with standardization in your project. And we would also like to stress that this tool can also be used by the experts. So, for example, if you would like to see if you have covered all the areas that could be relevant for a project, then you can also fill them in and see what advice this tool gives you. And finally, I would also like to stress that I think this is also an excellent tool for if you're making a research proposal. So if any of you listening out there are making research proposals and you are not quite sure how to add standardization, I know many call texts say you should contribute to standardization, but how do I actually do this? Then you can sort of use this tool to point you in a direction about how you can address standardization activities in your project. Then we have, of course, the Training Academy, which is really a key tool. And I will not talk about that now because Ivana will run you through this a little later today. So I'm just going to skip that one. We have also success stories. I think, again, this can be used as cases. So if you would like to see what others have done, then take a look at the case studies or success studies. And we encourage as many projects as possible we would like to have in the success stories so we can all learn from each other. So if any of your projects out there would like to have your project displayed also as a success story, please contact us and then we will be helpful in writing these success stories. And the last tool I would like to mention here is we have a YouTube channel. We have held a lot of webinars. We've had a lot of trainings already. All of this is recorded and put onto our YouTube channel. Like mentioned, if you press that little yellow box, orange box here, then it'll take you directly to our YouTube channel, where you can take a look at the videos that we have already developed. This can be, for example, introductions to standardization, but it can also be webinars that are dedicated to certain topics, such as artificial intelligence or likewise. And leading on to this next slide I have, we do have some technical webinars. So, of course, we have the training webinars, but we also have some that focus on technical thematical areas. We've already had 4. These have been recorded and can be found on the YouTube channel. The first one we had was about boosting plastic packaging recyclability. We also had one about standardization in the health sector. We had one about advancing AI regulations through standardization. And finally, standardization in cybersecurity. The main purpose of these webinars is to help both the projects and the experts, for example, in understanding a certain area. So we try to have at these webinars, we have when we can, we have the commission there talking about regulation. We also have committees there or participants in committees talking about what's going on standardization-wise in this particular topic. So I think there's really a lot of good stuff in these webinars. So if any of these areas are within your interest, then do take a look at them. And then I can also say that we have 6 upcoming webinars. I don't have the dates for them yet, but we will launch this soon. So there will be 6 more webinars. And if any of you out there listening are thinking, oh, why don't they have a webinar on this topic? Again, send us a message because we are very keen to listen. And we will see what we can do and then establishing this webinar for you. This one is one of the, I would say, less known things that we can help you with. So that's why I would like to spend just a little bit of time on this. We are in HS Booster actually able to help you get access to both standards and technical committees. So that means that just starting with standards, if the project sees or if the expert sees that there are some relevant standards that this project really needs to look into, then we are able to purchase up to 3 standards by using HS Booster budget. So if you say, well, for this project, we really need these 3 standards, then please do let us know and we'll be able to help you with purchasing these. It's always important for me to stress that it's not all about contributing to standardization. It's also about knowing existing standards. So there might be some standards within your area that are really key for you to know. So take a look at that. Secondly, we are also able to help you get access to technical committees. Just to make sure that we are all on the same page here. Technical committees are the committees that are responsible for developing standards within certain areas. So this could be a technical committee on AI, or it could be a technical committee on health, or likewise. There are many different, so I'm convinced that in most of your fields there will be relevant technical committees. These are carrying out the standardization activities either nationally, European, or internationally. The way you get access to a technical committee on the European or international level is via something called a national standard body, where they have mirror committees. And this is basically, for many of the standardization bodies, this is the only way that you, for example, can get access to standardization activities, which is one of the European standardization organizations. So what we can do in HS Booster is that we are able to help pay the fee for you to access a mirror committee. This mirror committee will be in a country. So let's just use Denmark as an example. For example, if there is a project and one of the participants is like to join a technical committee and they are from Denmark, then they can join via the national standard body of Denmark, this mirror committee. This costs a fee. This fee, HS Booster can cover for the project, so you don't have to pay for this participation. And that will then give you access to the standardization work within a certain committee. So that means within a standardization area. So how to do this? Project representatives should write to the email that I have put here in the text. So if you see that we would really like to have access to some standards, or we would really like to have access to this technical committee, but we're not quite sure how or what to do, then send us an email. We'll be able to help you go to the right standardization body, and we'll also be able to help you in becoming a member and also paying this fee, as I mentioned, via HS Booster budget. And I really encourage as many projects as possible to do this, because this is really a brilliant way to follow standardization activities within your field. So what is going on? Oftentimes it can also be linked to legislation. So what's going on there? And finally, of course, you're also able to contribute to standardization if you would like, but this is voluntary. So you can also join the technical committee just to listen and have these discussions with the experts that are in these technical committees. So this is not so known, so I hope that this is something you will take into consideration. We also are able to help with what is called a STEM workshop agreement. A STEM workshop agreement is what we call a pre-normative document. So that means it's sort of a document that comes often before a standard. It looks exactly like a standard. If you don't know the titles, then you will not be able to tell them apart. They look the same. They are developed in workshops. And this is something that if a project has really a great standardization potential, then we encourage that they take a look at this STEM workshop agreement methodology. STEM workshops are reference documents. They can be used, for example, if there's a need for interoperability in a field or compatibility. It also, which is one of the key things I would say, is that it can enhance market uptake. So if you are working on a service or a technology that you would like to see get to the market, this is often the case, especially, of course, in innovation actions. Then standardization can be a good tool for you to spread this technology to the market or aspects of it, so that there'll be a greater market uptake of the technology. And it's also something that can create trust. So if you're, for example, working with topics like artificial intelligence or cobots or anything like that, then it can help create trust within these innovations. Like I said, a stepping stone towards standardization. It does require a secretariat before being able to do this. Again, this secretariat should be a national standard body. So that means that if in a project you see, I would really like to develop this SendWorks agreement, so this pre-normative document, then you will need to have a secretariat. And this, of course, needs to be subcontracted, and this does cost a sum of money. And again, here, HS Booster can help, at least partly, with covering some of the money that it takes to have this secretariat. I've also added just a small picture here about the process. So what happens is that you propose a workshop or SendWorks agreement. If it is approved by Send, then there will be a drafting phase where you draft this document that looks exactly like a standard. If you want, then you can open it for the public for them to comment on it, but this is voluntary if you would like to have input from more partners. And then finally, once it is approved within the group that's developing it, then it will be published on Send's website. And there are also some elements that we can do in regard to when it's for a research project to have open access to these documents. But that's a long story that I will tell you another day. I just encourage that if you really have standardization potential, then take a look at this SendWorks agreement. The final slide that I have today is this new service that we're working on. We have found that it is really a benefit if we sometimes do more than one service to a project, one service to more than one project at a time, because this sort of gives the project also the ability to discuss with each other. So this, what we call the deep dive service, are a series of workshops that are dedicated to more than one project. For example, often in Horizon, in a call, there can be more than one project that wins. So you sort of have these sister projects. It can make sense to have a service dedicated to all of these sister projects at the same time, because then you're also able to discuss different aspects in between the projects. Then there'll be one or more experts that are carrying out these workshops. I have an example here just to show what I mean. One workshop we have done already on this, or one deep dive service we've done already, is for the IEC engineered living materials. We had around 15 projects that were given this deep dive service at the same time. We had dialogue with them about what are your needs, what would you like to learn more about. So we found out in cooperation with them that they would like to have 3 workshops, one on how do you actually link projects with standardization, one on CE marking, and finally one on lifecycle assessment. So that means that it was online, but we had 15 projects together, and then the expert helping them with these different topics and talking a little bit about these with them. We would like to do a lot more of these. So if there are some projects or experts out there saying that I really think that this should be the next deep dive, we are, for example, in a mission or something like that, we would also like to have input for what should be the next deep dive. So also if experts out there say that I really know a lot about this topic, it's really good, I would like to try out this workshop for more than one project at a time, please do feel free to contact us, and we will try to set it up for you also. So that was my very long talk about the services. As mentioned, they are evolving. So we would very much like to have input, which will also be facilitated by Maria here today. And I think I'll just quickly take a look at the chat if there's anything. We have a question here. Is there an FAQ regarding proper compliance to EC projects rules? I don't think there is right now, Lindsay, but we will make sure that we add this so we have this also on the FAQ. And there's a question here, what about the completed project? We had some discussions in the project. It's a particular partner that applies for HS Booster on behalf of the consortium. So I guess that's valid also after the project ends. Yes, I can just answer this quickly, that this is also for projects that have concluded. Like I said, this is also, for example, if you have developed a new technology and would like to see it to go to the market, then HS Booster can also help in some ways, and at least finding out should you make a SIM workshop agreement or what would be the next steps for you. So if the project has already concluded, then please do feel free to apply anyway, because this is both for ongoing and completed projects. So if we have no more questions, I think I will just stop my share. And I will be here throughout the day. So if you find out later that there are some questions, do let us know and I'll do my best to answer it. And as mentioned, check out the website because all the tools are available and you can find out what works for you. So that's it from me, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sine, for your clear presentation. Just want to add one note I put also in the chat. We received some questions regarding application from projects, whether they're ended or not. One remark is try to apply as soon as possible. You can reapply, you can apply whether it's ended or not, but do it as soon as possible because as you saw, the project is ending in September. So we will be delivering services very likely only until summer. So latest time for you to really apply would be June. If you have any idea that this would be helpful for you, apply at your earliest convenience, and I will send also the link to apply for the service in the chat in a moment. But for moving on, let's say we had an overview of the services. We'd like to dedicate the next 20-25 minutes to hear some experiences from projects and experts. So I see my guests already turned on their camera. Thank you. Let me introduce. We have in alphabetical order Gabriel Danchu representing iHelp project in the health sector. We have Claudio De Maio representing SNS Ops in 6G. Then we have Muslim Elkotop, who is the expert who was assigned to SNS Ops. We have Raul Garcia Castro from Cogito project, digital twin domain, Rada Hussein from Idera project, and Akos Milankovic, Ashurmos. So we have 5 projects, 1 expert. Welcome. And we want to hear from you, let's say, your experience. We will focus more on, let's say, the traditional consultancy service in this panel, while we'll dedicate the next event in February to discuss experiences about the new services that Sine explained, like the CWA or the deep dives. For now, let's focus on what you've done with, the traditional consultancy with the experts. And I would like to ask all of you, in the first round of this panel, to basically describe a little bit what were the project needs and what type of support and recommendations the assigned expert gave to you to address, your problems and your needs. And I'd like to start the roundtable by asking, this question to Raul. So Raul, for Cogito, welcome. Just, tell us your initial experience and the reason why you applied for HS Booster.
Perfect. And so, good morning, everyone. So, my name is Raúl García Castro. I work at Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, and and I'm here representing the service that in the Cogito project we did. Okay, so the Cogito project is about a digital twin of construction sites. Okay, and in the project, we requested the service in the third year. That was the last year of the project. And we were already involved in standardization, okay, in more or less detail, but we were in the project involved in around 14 initiatives, standardization initiatives, okay, in construction and buildings, digital twins, semantic interoperability, energy safety, and things like that, no? So we, when having the service, we had most of the work done, but we had some topics in which we thought that the expert could help, no? Even if we had some things already solved. No? One thing was the preparation of the project contributions to standardization bodies. That this is something that we wanted to do in the last year of the project. We also wanted to organize a standardization workshop in the project. And another question that was raised was to the expert was to raise funds to support the standardization. No? That this is also another topic of interest. So the expert that was assigned to us was René Lindler. So he was very, very good and very, very useful. So we had 2 meetings with him. And just not to go into much detail, but the recommendations that he gave us, one, of course, to deepen the participation in the different committees, okay? He also guided us to some other standards that maybe we hadn't identified before. We gave us also some hints on how to organize these standardization workshops that we wanted to organize, and also on how to initiate the standardization activities. He gave us a lot of information about the 10 workshop agreements that we just heard about them. And that's it, and gave us some hints on getting more support on standardization from national bodies and so on. So in summary, it was very, very useful for the project, all the advice from René.
Thanks, Raúl. So we have a case here of basically engagement with TC and SDOs in general, and you'll tell us later what you did with this recommendation. Let me move to Rada now from IDEA project to, tell us the same, basically what you asked and what you got as recommendation.
Yeah, good morning all. My name is Rada Hussein and I'm principal investigator at Ludwig Boltzmann Institute in Austria. We are leading work package 4 of the IDEA project for standardization. IDEA project is one of the first funded project of IHI, the first call, and we aim to build a European health data space mainly for lung cancer. It's public-private partnership led by Fraunhofer and J&J. We started in last April, so we are in the first phase of the project. We didn't complete 1 year, and we started our service with the HS booster just on the beginning of November. We have the intro meeting late in October, but we have very fantastic experience with the HS booster. We started to explore what are the standards needed in our project in light of the European health data space and how to get free access of these standards of ISO standards, the first 3 ones. And the more fantastic thing that we started just before the Christmas, our creating synergy with the iHelp team and the project, and it's very nice to share the expertise, especially in patient-generated health data. And I think that my colleague Gabriel from iHelp will give more information about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rada. So you have here these first 2 examples. One project from Raúl, who was already in the let's say late stage of the life cycle, 3rd year of the project, with already some standardization work done, while Rada was in the initial part of the journey, and the request was more on understanding landscape and getting access to standards, also trying to synergize with similar projects. And you actually found, one of these projects, actually 2 projects in health sector via the HS Booster Project Hub that all of you can consult in our website. and you basically got in contact via HS Booster with iHelp. So we have Gabriel here to tell your side of your story. So why you applied for HS Booster, what you did with the expert, and then we will discuss better what you are doing together as a synergy in the second round. So Gabriel,
of course. So I'm representing the standardization. My name is Gabriel Dancho. I'm involved in iHelp project. As you can see on the background, the project started in 1st January 2021 and is due to finish this March. So we're kind of at the end. We have performed 2 internal standardization workshops in order to gather all the standards that are relevant to the project. The project is about identifying and mitigating risk associated with pancreatic cancer using advanced AI-based techniques. Now, on this part of standardization, we performed the state-of-art of the standards, and during these workshops and during the effort of developing the project and applying as much as possible the standards, we try to identify which standards are relevant and which standards can be extended, maybe if not new standards can be developed. And this is why we contact HS Booster, and we had quite very nice and informal collaboration, which led to I would say good result, which we will present later, of course.
Okay, thank you, Gabriel. So also in your case, the need was to understand in the landscape of standards, which was the most important standard you could contribute to as a project in a final stage versus Rada's one was in initial stage. So they just wanted to have access to relevant standards. You wanted to understand which standard was the most appropriate for you to contribute with your project. And then let's hear from Akos. Ashramos, what was instead your situation, let's say, and what type of need you were asking support for?
Okay, so the Ashramos project is about securing multiple open source software, as nowadays software is assembled from all places from the internet. And Search Lab, the company I work for, is responsible for creating tools to automatically evaluate the security of software. We created a set of requirements to do that, which we named the Ashramos scheme. It is designed to be a lightweight scheme, at least compared to common criteria, for example. It focuses on automation and implements data evaluation in a MOS-specific context. And we implemented the requirement assessments in a tool called Data AI Cert. And then the coordinator of Ashramos showed us the HS Booster project, and we have been assigned Scott Katzov, an expert. And meetings were organized about getting to know each other, and we showed him the Ashramos scheme and got very good compliments, basically, on the content. And this deliverable was validated by Scott and other experts. It was said that it's almost ready for certification. It had all the contents required. And we got introduced to the certification process. And unfortunately, the project was scheduled to be ending in 6 months. So the consortium did not commit to bring it further. But for us, for Search Lab, in case we would like to do standardization in another project, it was very, very helpful. So we explored the idea. We got hands-on experience with how to do this, what the timeline would look like, and it helps us in our future projects.
Thanks, Akos. So in your case, you got a feedback on the deliverable, on the work you had done, and this will be something that you can carry on, let's say, in the future projects also, because you'll tell us you'll have the opportunity also to present in SDO this result. In the meantime, before passing to Claudio and Muslim, I just want to pick up a question I have in the chat from Lindsay to Gabriel. Lindsay's asking whether there's a follow-on project for iHelp on cancer, for other cancer topics.
Yes, this is something we need to discuss with our project coordinator, George Manias. But yes, we have in view to create iHelp 2 because the feedback of the clinicians, especially, were that they and the other stakeholders were very positive, and this platform already brings good impact into at least the close by community, which was involved in iHelp. Pilot partners like University of Manchester and FPG and other Marina Salud and HDMs and so on, other partners that are clinically partners were presenting good feedback. So there's positive, I think, the feedback led to the need of continuing with iHelp 2.
Okay, thanks, Gabriel. Just to conclude the overview of the experiences and the recommendations, I'll now pass to Claudio to explain us instead the need that SNS Ops had when you applied for HS Booster and then Muslim will come on to say what work he did and recommendations he gave.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. So essentially, as part of SNS Ops, we are not a research innovation action program, not an innovation action program. We are kind of a bit of a different story in this sense, because we are a CSA project, and our project is essentially supporting the SNSGO program in different ways, operationally in most cases. And it's done by doing very practical things. So it's about setting up the working groups for the SNSGO program. It's about setting up the technical board, the steering board, but also carrying out a ramified stakeholder engagement strategy, which is aimed at creating business opportunities for SMEs, for example, among other things, but also to draw pre-standardization roadmaps. And this is where HS Booster comes in, together with Muslim. Essentially, we work in synergy as part of SNS Ops in this task with the 6GIA pre-standardization working group, which is a pre-standardization working group that is created to essentially gather all projects together and understand their requirements. And whatever they find out, whatever they do, all their works are essentially fed into a tool, which is called Standards Tracker tool. A previous version was implemented in the past as part of 5G PPP. So essentially, it's something that has already been done. But as part of SNS Ops, we wanted to improve it. What we wanted to do, we wanted to have not only relevant information on what the projects are doing, but also create new taxonomies that could accommodate the project's need to find relevant standards, telco standards in this case, that might be useful for them in trying to understand their standardization roadmap and what to focus on, what to work on. And so this is where we applied for HS Booster service, and we got Muslim as an expert. So he suggested these new taxonomies in the first phase. So the service was kind of split into different phases in this case. In the first block, he said,
thanks, Claudio. Sorry, I'd rather ask Muslim to explain the things that he did, let's say, with his assignment, so that, you know, also from an expert point of view, we can explain about, you know, the methodology and the main insights that he got. So we are talking here about a need to develop a standardization, improve, let's say, a standardization tracker. So Muslim, if you can go on and explain what you did. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, Claudia could have also explained, but since we're in this together, I'd be happy to do it. So when I entered this project, SNS Ops, I saw that there was a tracker which was very flat. It was very hard to navigate through because it was maybe like a flat list of all things crammed together from different SDOs. And there were, let's say, not very well indexed standards there. So it was of limited, let's say, benefit. And in standards, just like in publications or research, the value of the work done is from the reuse factor, from citations, from reuse when you build on a standard. So how to enable experts to find standards that they're looking for so they can build something on top of that? Or how could you place your work so it can be found by others? We needed to have a structured approach. So to break this, because I mean, I'm myself, besides working in Vodafone, I'm many SDOs in the delegate and chairman role. So ETSI, ITU, IEEE, and GMN. So I looked at the structure of the content of this tool that was there, this tracker. And I said, okay, what are the parameters for indexing this content? So I looked at things because, as Claudia mentioned, it's telco standards primarily. So I looked at what is the, let's say, the value chain in let's say 5G or beyond. So what are the segments, whether it's edge or core or transport? I looked at what are the verticals, what are the different, let's say, application or slice types. So I found categories that are widely accepted, adopted, and that are easy to categorize. And I created the structured, let's say, two-level approach of a new taxonomy. And then I created let's say a drop-down list for each of the different entities, so that when let's say standards expert is doing something, he or she can index this thing and label it, you know, like annotate it with all the different labels. And then somebody who is searching can also search based on these criteria with the right keyword. So it was about, let's say, capturing or making a common data model for this. And then we had a nice thing put in place, and we populated even the model, but more details maybe will come in the second cycle of this panel chat. Yeah, so this is basically in brief what we did here. Yeah.
Thanks, Muslim. And so now maybe I can give back the floor to Claudia again, to explain, let's say, from an implementation of Muslim suggestion, let's say, from an implementation point of view in SNS Ops, what's the status, if you were able to complete everything, what are the timing needed, if what's the status of the tracker, and the next plans that you have in terms of putting this in place concretely, let's say.
So maybe we should wait. Okay, it's back.
Yes.
Yeah, so you froze.
Yeah,
at some point.
I hope you could hear my question, Claudia. I was asking
Yes,
about implementation.
Yeah. So essentially, what we done with Muslim recommendations is that we already sort of addressed most of the comments that he made, both in the technical part of updating from a technical standpoint the tool. In a way, we didn't pick it up from the previous tool. We created a new one from scratch based on Muslim recommendations. So Muslim recommendations really shaped the tracker 100%. They were like crucial for the new version of the tracker, which essentially is the result of what he suggested us to do. And then we also already collected some of the telco standards that he suggested we should include, and we are including them these days because the tracker will be officialized a couple of weeks from now. So we are almost there. And then I don't know, do you also want to know what we're gonna do in the future with the service?
Yes, that would be great as a next step. Yes.
Yes, so as a next step, we are thinking of applying once again for the services of HS Booster, this time with a more kind of close collaboration with the project itself. And this is to launch a workshop series on personalization roadmaps in the context of 6G, which will once again serve as a sort of a blueprint and a guidance for projects in the SNS context, dealing with standardization of their results. And this will be done together with Muslim, but also with other experts from the pool of HS Booster, I believe. Yes, and together with ETSI as well. So this is a case where we also found an SDO to collaborate with us.
Thanks, Claudio. And this will be actually one of the new type of services like the deep dive that Sine was presenting before. So we have one case already, one example already that's in progress. Let me go back to the other guests to explain, what they're doing with the recommendations and the next steps. So let's go back to Raul, who started first.
Perfect. So, well, coming back to the recommendations, one of them was to deepen the participation in existing committees. No, we are already participating in several of them. But for example, we had in the radar one new committee at European level that was created, the SN 442 on building information modeling, and a working group on digital twins. So this caused the creation of the Mirror Committee in Spain, and this is a bit what has been mentioned before. No, you have to join the Mirror Committee to participate in the European one. The committees have different timelines and work programs. No, so it involves these kind of things. No, another thing that we tried to do, and this was very nice because right now the landscape of standardization in digital twins started in the last 2-3 years. No. So we have been able of contributing with use cases from the Cogito project at ISO level. And in the last year, we tried at European level in the CENTIC 442 and also in ETSI in Smart M2M. And we have also tried to give feedback to different standardization bodies from the usage of their standards in our projects. No? So we gave feedback to the use of the Saref ontology, okay, in which some new requirements that we had in the project. And we are also planning to give feedback to the Web of Things working group because, well, the Cogito architecture is based on standards and the semantic web standards, and one of them is the Web of Things one. And we have also an extension of Web of Things for representing digital twins that we want to present to the group, and so on. Also, the other thing was the organization of the standardization workshops. We organized one last year and we plan another one for this year. Here, for example, the difficulty has been that that the other sister projects, because these things we are organizing them with the sister projects, and the other sister projects started in December. No, so for the workshop of this year, it is more difficult to find people interested in the workshop, and then we have some ideas for new standardization activities, no, but right now again the timing of the project didn't allow to start them, no, because we knew that we couldn't finish it in the project timeline. And that's it.
Thanks, Raul. What about Akos?
From our side, our expert invited us to an ETSI cyber cluster meeting where we had the opportunity to present the Azure scheme in person with industry experts from top companies. And we got back the validation of the idea itself. They liked the Azure scheme and the proposed idea of data certification. And we organized another meeting, including experts from Etsy, to gather feedback on the tools we developed in the Azure MOS scheme, the Data AI CERT tool, which automates for security experts the evaluation process, and the risk and resilience tool from the project. So it was a very, very good dissemination activity for us, and we are looking for new partners and further collaboration in the realm of security and AI in our future projects. Also, what you mentioned in this SAM workshop is very interesting.
Okay, thanks, Akos. So you are considering basically bringing this to a new project that doesn't exist or already exists, a follow-up?
Well, we have in AI a follow-up project, security for AI, called AI for Cyber, and we are exploring now again whether we should do some elements of standardization during the project, and we have a very good head start with the expertise that we have received.
Okay, that's clear. And then I'd like to ask one between Gabriel and Rada, because this is a joint, let's say, effort. I understood probably it's Gabriel, to tell us what you're planning to do together, IHELP and IDERA, in terms of synergies, since you found each other and you have complementarities. So what have you planned, Gabriel, to do?
So to bring a bit the general context, we have met like a month ago inside the workshop, the 3 project workshops. We established each party's interests. One ours is to extend the HHR, which is Holistic Health Records standard, and to extend it to prepare it as a FHIR extension. And from Rada's point of view, it's a similar approach, but it's towards the OMOP standard. Basically, that's our goal. Now we will have another meeting in February, organized very well, I think, by Stefano, and we plan to participate into a workshop together in medical conference, and Rada will provide the details for this. And yeah, keep continuing to with the contact to the HL7 FHIR standardization body, to pursuing this extension of the HHR, which is basically the core of IHELP.
Okay, thanks, IHELP. Rada, you want to add anything here?
I just thanks, Gabriel. He made fantastic summary of our discussion during the last 2 months, and I'm looking forward for this panel or workshop for Medical Informatics Europe, and it will give us this opportunity to discuss with health informatics expert and standardization bodies over there to present our plans, and they can support us in extending both OMOB and the HL7 for patient-related health data. And thank you. That's all from my side.
Thanks. So we are basically almost done. One last minute to Muslim as an expert to close this panel with any recommendations that you could give based on your opinion, either to experts or projects that have done things with us or are considering doing this with doing services with us. So just to close the panel with your general advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, from all the trace of projects I've done so far, it's not the only one that I did, which is the SNS Ops, is that first of all, try to, let's say, deep dive with your client project into the real problem. Try to understand, ask many questions, get into the essence, and then try to really understand before you start any work what is of real value to the partners and to the project itself, because sometimes it could look not what it really is, the problem at the core. And then also try to be, as in for experts that are there, try to be engaged in many different SDOs, because I've seen that the more SDOs I join and I actively contribute, the better you can navigate around the problem. So it is typical consulting work, but it needs some, let's say, expert knowledge in standards and also understanding of the overall problem in depth. And that's what I spent some time before diving into the real, let's say, practical work. And I think that you also, as an expert, which I can highly recommend, you learn a lot yourself while doing the work. It's not only giving, but also you're learning a lot, and it's of high value. So I think that this is a great format, this HS Booster, and it has a win-win impact on both sides, and I can highly recommend, and I definitely myself will be continuing to work on this trail.
Thanks, Muslim, and thank you to all the speakers very much for sharing your experience. If anyone else in the audience would like to share their own experience, feel free to write a comment in the chat, or, and if you have any questions, some already came. While we do this, I want to invite on virtual stage Ivana and Ekaterini for the last 20 minutes of the event. Just a note for you, Ivana, you have 20 minutes until 12, because we should have had also like a final moment for Q&A, but Q&A already came and it's been done in parallel. So no need to reserve at the end. So we were a little bit late, but we still have the 20 minutes for you for the training academy. You can share your screen, and welcome.
Thank you, Maria. Good afternoon to everyone. And I'm so happy that we have community together to discuss some issues and what we all learned. My task today is to present a training academy, what we have done by now and what our plans are, and just to see and to share some information with you and to see what you has to say in relation to training. So basically, do you see my next slide? So
Yes.
basically, HS Booster Training Academy, our target audience is researchers. So basically what we have learned up to now is that our target audience is specific, but is not homogeneous. So the real challenge of our training academy was to prepare training material and training session for wide variety of researchers, a wide variety of projects, topics, areas, and so on. And aside of very different topics, we had a wide variety of different types of project consortia and their group dynamics. So our task was how to make closer standardization to all of them. First, we developed our methodology and our strategy in this area. And our methodology first was called placing why before how. And we made a plan how to raise expertise of researchers, of European researchers, to the stage that they can be able to influence process of standardization and outcomes of standardization. We heard in before section of our trainees and our experts that this task is very ambitious, and this task is something that we all should carefully understand how to reach this state, and we need a lot of time and a lot of learning. So to check our methodology, we organized in September 2022 a webinar related to finding the answers on how to serve, how to better serve the needs of European projects in relation to training of standardization, what expertise is needed, and how it can be improved. You can watch this this webinar at our YouTube channel. And if you are interested in some advices we earned some times ago, I think that this webinar is very important for every training action in the future. Basically, Aegis Booster Training Academy published first beta version on April 21st last year. And we practically have some, let's say, a three track related to basic knowledge, related to standardization practice, and related to standardization experience in order to build knowledge, skills, and experience of our trainees. Written material is already on our portal of Training Academy, and there are almost 25 topics by now. In a written material, we have material related to beginner courses at level beginner 1 and beginner 2, intermediate level, and intermediate level is related to finding answers on how to, and it is related to skills. So we have written material, and we prepared a game, a standardization game, which is, I will talk something about that later. So basically, our third part is related to experience. In our third part, we are interested in experience of project consortia and experience of experts. But after finish all written material in our training platform, you can find let's say, open communication channel. So if any one of you, being expert or being a project representative of a research project, would like to contribute Training Academy in already existing topics, or you want to suggest other training topics for the academy, or you would like to be author of or co-author of existing or new material, or you have some use case, please join us and just write a few sentences. We will contact you, and we will include you. We are happy. We all will be more than happy to include you and your content in our training academy. Our training, the next aspect of our training academy, or part of our training academy, are Aegis Booster training series. We have 3 tracks: Introduction to Standardization, which is, let's say, quite general, Standardization in Practice, and Thrive on Standardization. So basically, you can find on our YouTube channel and on our platform a link to see our training webinar related to Introduction to Standardization, European Standardization System, standard users and use of standards, conformity assessment, and systems. And the last one was related to role of national standardization bodies and identifying gaps in the current standards. Our next training session will be on February 1st, and it is serious standardization and practice. We will talk about when is the right time for standardization in research processes. We have trainers Knut Blind from Fraunhofer Institute and TU Berlin, and Christian Goronsi, project manager from DIN. I can announce the following training session on standardization in practice related to technical specification. But what other training sessions are in pipeline? We are preparing a training session related to fast-track standardization with focus on Senelec workshop agreements, training session related on how to develop a standardization strategy in a research project consortia, something about building alliances of research projects and project partner for standardization based on experience of industrial association and others. We will talk about consortia-based standardization and company standardization, and we are preparing a training session on metrology standards and terminology standards. These are topics which we gain into by listening what our researchers would like to learn or have interest to learn. So please join us as a trainer on this training session or propose another training session, and please share your knowledge, your experience with other researchers. When I said that at intermediate 1 level, we prepared a standardization game. It is a serious smiley game, and it is focused on developing soft skills needed in standardization process, argumentation skills, strategic positioning in standardization process, building compromise and common understanding. So we already check this case at EURAS conference. 25 players, experienced researchers play this game, and we gain a very nice response and very good inputs for making this game better. On the other side, this year, we are planning to play this game at Dublin City University and Linköping University. So basically, if you want to play with us, we can play it online too. But we can do that with no more than 20 players. On site, it can be played with up to 30 players. Of course, I just need to tell you that this game will be open. I hope in a month that we will open the game. You can we will provide a trainer instruction for all interested, and if there will be interest, we will organize training for trainers related to that game. But at the end of my presentation, I would like to say what we learned and what we find out at HS Booster Consortia, that a critical factor for success of this training academy, and I think of every training and educational effort in standardization, is joint efforts of academic researchers, standardization professionals, and experts from industry. So please, if you have any interest and a little bit of time, join us as a trainers in HS Booster training webinars, share your knowledge and experience with other researchers, and let us, HS Booster Training Academy, be part of our joint success. Thank you. And now I will stop sharing, and I have honor to announce Ekaterini Postuorli. She's a scientific officer of International Hellenic University. Also, she is a senior scientist, experienced in standardization, certification, and accreditation. And she said she has remarkable experience in testing labs, industry, consulting services, research, local government, and so on. She served as in the DG Joint Research Center and DG Home Affairs. And of course, what is very important for us, Ekaterini served as a standardization advisor in strategy Horizon 2020 project, and contributed to strategy consortium outstanding effort to deliver 11 CVAs and 2 technical specification in area of crisis management. Ekaterini, please, floor is yours. First, can you tell us a little bit more about strategy project?
Yes, please. First of all, thank you very much for having me here. I listened very carefully all the speakers, panelists, and I'm not surprised because I already was informed about the HS booster program. So now I see with the exceptional experts how, let's say, beautifully and how with a concrete way, how you support the researchers and the research projects. So this is a success story for the for our Europe. Thank you, Ivana. And also, I'm very honored because I know that you are one of the first people, the first academic that established EURES, and this is very important for the young people to know and to be aware for some fundamental, let's say, pillars that provide this knowledge that now is necessary in almost in every project. So yes, very well. I got involved in the strategy research project. So it was a 3 years duration project dedicated to the disaster resilience security called the Cluster 6, and was its main, let's say, goal. It was to facilitate a European pre-standardization process through streamlining and validating interoperability in systems and procedures involved in the crisis management cycle. So yes, the project delivered in the European Commission in Europe 11 CWAs and 2 technical specifications under the realization of these 8 streams, namely search and rescue, critical infrastructure protection, response planning, command and control, early warning systems, and rapid damage assessment, CBRNE, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear threats, and the 8 stream training and terminology. So you understand that it was a project that invited and achieved to gather, to collect the top minds in terms of researchers, but also a diverse, succeeded to have a diverse participation of experts, meaning first responders, practitioners, technology transfer organizations, research organizations like Fraunhofer and other institutes, and also representatives from the defense area, civil protection area, policymakers, and representatives from the international and European standardization ecosystem. So this is somehow a good recipe in order to have, in the end, a success project that will deliver good outcomes, useful outcomes, in alignment with the priorities and the top priorities and top policies of the European Commission, and also the priorities and fundamental policies of the European standardization system. I hope that I provide you a short description of the strategy project, and so please let me know if I could say something else in terms of the questions submitted. Yes.
Yeah, Ekaterini, based on your experience with strategy projects, what is your advice for research projects and research consortia on how to learn on standardization?
Oh, wow, very good question. Because both of us, Ivana, we teach standardization in the higher education institutes and also in vocational training centers and also in the research and scientific community. So it is something that it is not a static. The education, the awareness is a dynamic situation. So first of all, I would like to share the factors that I consider as best practices, choices, and which implemented by the strategy project. So a trusted, powerful, efficient consortium scheme and partners group should be established from the very beginning of the project. Also, a very well project management structure should be formed from the very beginning. The Sadways Ltd, which was the project coordinator of the strategy project, was an outstandingly experienced project coordinator, and its team of project managers who assigned very concrete tasks and areas of responsibility was a best practice that ensured results and communication of clear messages among the partners of the consortium. Also, continuity and equitability were parts of the communication practice. A very concrete identification of standard gaps and needs was implemented from the very beginning of the project and was followed up by the liaison officer till the end of the project. Also, 5 national standardization bodies joined and undertook specific roles per thematic stream and as workshop secretariats during the realization of its CWAs. Annette was referred to this issue. Also, tabletop exercises and full-scale exercises validated the content, the progress, and the results of each CWA, Common Workshop Agreement, and their interoperability too. Vivid liaison activities also established with relevant ISO and CEN technical committees in February 22 with ISO, if I remember well, the 292 technical committee, the Security and Resilience technical committee, and the working group 3, the emergency management working group, and also we established a liaison with the CEN TC 391, the authorized technical committee of CEN, November 2021. So that was very crucial and gave fruits during the project and afterwards. Secondly, in general, based on my experience, I can advise that projects have to be informed and follow up on the standardization policies, initiatives, and bodies related to the topics of their project. All websites are accessible, transparent processes. Also to proactively attend and participate in relevant events, remotely or physically, to be in contact and establish strategical interaction with key actors and stakeholders, to attend HS Booster Training Academy's courses and be active members of its community by taking advantage of the HS Booster tools, platform, material, network, the orientation tool that I showed
Katerini,
before.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. Just the shortest. If you can, we can discuss about that. We have to end this webinar. Do you have any advice for Training Academy on better serving our target audience, our researchers?
Yeah, okay. Of course, to constantly provide its successful training courses as does, to organize more field-focused and customized training courses addressed to consortia, projects, researchers, key stakeholders, including standardizers. As you wisely highlighted before, sometimes the opinions are not homogeneous. So many times titled lines do not offer the luxury of empathy. Each part has its own priorities and agendas, and thus it is essential to learn to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Such training courses could be provided in the form of serious games, of tabletop exercises, on either as living labs. Similar to the living labs as regulatory learning tools that established from European Commission, GRC, and other parties for a more interactive and engaging way of learning. So thus to extend and invest in training courses addressed to technical committees, leadership, chairperson, conveners, and members. The aim here is to gain the leadership skills and capacities, meaning the facilitation, the communication capacities for eliciting, harnessing the best possible of the researchers and the research and innovation project's outcomes. Also, to extend and invest more in ICT standardization, information communication technologies, thematic topics. We live to an increasingly smart, interconnected, and interdependent world. Therefore, the provision of training in topics related to standards and standardization on artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing, Internet of Things, edge, and cloud computing will be very useful and urgently required very soon. Such a planning could be in alignment with business plans and work programs of technical committees and of annual union work program for standardization. Also, similarly, the Academy could extend its services on supporting consortia, in co-drafting the standardization sections of their proposals and following up the progress till the end of the project. For example, we know that there are Open, the Horizon Europe calls dedicated to digital platforms for the cloud age, IoT innovation through open source and software. I think that they are open till the March of this year, March 2024. And also maybe the Training Academy could support the consortia in the topics, in the calls of the NS, meaning the smart networks and services joint undertaking. These calls will remain open for the next 6-8 years, if I remember well. And so also to join forces with other projects like the STAND ICT and to offer a constant partner and supporter of the Sensenelec ETSI, I mean with under a more institutional way. So
we will see about that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ekaterini. Thank you so much. Maria?
Thank you, Katerini, also from my side, and thank you to all the speakers. We are a little bit over time, 5 minutes. I think that's fine, but I wanted to give very quickly the floor to Signe. I don't know if Carlos, who asked the question, is still online, but we have a question in the Q&A box. What are the methods, challenges, and opportunities in integrating stakeholders in the standards development process, as well as in fostering interoperability? So, Signe, you wanted to answer in person to this.
Thank you very much. It's because this is both a broad and a complicated question. And of course, it's one of the reasons why hsbooster.eu exists is due to these challenges that there might be. Just to mention, we think that one of the main challenges is actually awareness among the research innovation community about standardization and how standardization can, for example, help a project gain market access and all the other elements that we've been discussing today. They simply do not yet anyway see how and why to link research and innovation. So that's one of the biggest challenges in having this stakeholder involved in standardization activities. There are also some barriers when it comes to language, I would say, because not due to the English language or anything like that, but standardization does have a lot of abbreviation. We do have special ways of talking that can be difficult if you are new in standardization. So it does take some time before you are able to completely understand what's going on. And that's also why I wanted also to stress the training academy that we just heard about, because we are attempting via this also to create this awareness and also share what are the benefits, the why, like Ivan said, in regard to linking research, innovation, and standardization. And in regard to the how-to, then there are, of course, different methodologies, but the most common ones on how to have research involved in standardization is either via these national merit committees that I mentioned earlier, or the STEM workshop agreement, which has also been mentioned today. So those are the most common methodologies. And of course, when it comes to why this is being carried out, why the Commission is pushing this forward, is of course we want the European technology to be forefront. We want to make sure that they gain market access. We want to make sure that research innovation benefits from this very great network that there is in standardization, because there are many experts in standardization that can benefit from talking with each other. And then, of course, finally, it's very important that we have innovation also represented in standardization, because without innovation in standardization, then there will be a standstill, and we need to make sure that what is being developed are, of course, the standards for the future also. So I hope that answers your question. If not, feel free to send an email, and we'll try to elaborate. And also take a look at the Training Academy, because a lot of this will be answered there also. Thank you.
Thank you, Sine, for answering this question, and thank you for everyone who contributed to this. I see a board that's pretty full, so I'll send it also after the event for anyone in the mural that wants to contribute. Over 37 people still in the meeting, although we are late. So thank you for your patience, and we'll see you next time. We have a follow-up event on the 29th of February. Have a good day, and thanks again.